Yo, 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 welcome to the show. I wonder how much longer I'm going to say that. I ask myself that often. Like, am I going to hold on to the yo, 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 welcome to the show forever? Welcome back, Megan.
Thank you so much. I hope you hold on to it. I mean, it's your signature slogan.
I mean, I don't know how that dumb shit happened, but it's fun. So it's like a lot of times fun stuff is also dumb. And we're just going to embrace it for now. So, yo, 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 welcome to the show. Welcome to the Social Sunshine Podcast. My girl, Megan Colwell, is back to talk about another fun social media topic. If you are not familiar with Megan, Megan is the director of design at my company, Fun Love Media. She's a social media pro. She's a design pro. She's an artist. And she's amazing. And if you haven't listened to Megan on the show before, you can go back. You've been on what? This is what, number 6 or 7? It's a
Yeah,
lot of times.
it's been a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been on a lot of episodes. And I appreciate you being here again because this topic was actually your idea, which is a topic that I love to talk about, social media and how you don't have to be salesy. Like, you don't have to be like actively selling and stuff like that to actually have it benefit your business. But you were saying something prompted you to think about this recently. I
Yeah.
think you were talking about like TikTok Shop and some other stuff that you've been seeing.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I've been on social media forever and I'm always on there every day. It's our job. So I see a lot of things across a lot of different platforms. And one of my favorite platforms right now is Instagram Threads. And granted, it's an it's like an artist community. There's a lot of like artsy people there, musicians, things like that. And I'm just seeing a lot of gripe. I'm seeing a lot of gripe about how they feel as if social media marketing is just one big commercial. And I think you could probably test that out if you're scrolling TikTok and it seems like every other post is TikTok shop, you know? So I get it. And I was like, man, but I was triggered because I was like, I do social media for a living and I help people tell their stories. And I'm like, I don't necessarily think social media is one big commercial anymore. And maybe they're just not posting the right way. So it got me thinking and I was like, hey, let's chat.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right, man. The TikTok shop thing. Woo. Like, it's talk about like, I mean, it's also cool, but it's also a lot.
Yeah.
It's a home shopping network essentially on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that it gives people opportunities to make money, but I've started to notice people getting like even more creative, not just with TikTok shop, but like even with like sponsored posts and ads, things that are really actually officially advertisements, like literally no beating around the bush. Like, we're here to sell you some shit. People are getting better. I feel like just few of them. It's going to take some time at like making it more just like natural, right? Like, so like I just saw this girl the other day talking about that I follow on Instagram. Her handle is the Lazy Millionaire. Her name's Amy. Shout out Amy. But she was talking about like, okay, but you could like show, like if you're like, oh, I sell skincare, well then you can just be using it. You don't have to be like, buy my skincare. That was just kind of one little tactic. But also you talk about a lot storytelling, which I love storytelling as an actor. I feel like that's like one of the best things ever, right?
Right.
What's your deal with storytelling and social media? Like, for someone that doesn't even know what the hell you mean by that.
Yeah. So when I say storytelling, it's literally just sharing a story. And a good example of it is today on my Happy Camper KC Instagram. It was Monday. I was like, it's a good time to do an introduction. So I recorded just an introduction about me, what I do, and why I got to be a wood burning artist. Because I get that question a lot. So I kind of use storytelling in my content to just get people to know me and really give them a backstory and repeat all of it and show my personality, all of those things. It's actually easier content than doing the lip syncing. Like literally, I just set my camera up and I just started talking about if I were answering that question to a real person. I pretended like I was talking to someone. Like if someone asked me, why did you start wood burning? I just like went into it. I did my elevator pitch and that became my post. But really, that's the story of like how I came to be an artist. And every business, every person on social media has a story to tell. And of course, in my video, I strategically had things like I had a pet portrait I was working on in the shot. I had my wood burning pin. You can see my studio behind me. And so I was talking about wood burning. The words popping up on screen were all keyword rich, like hopefully what people would type into the search engine to find my art. And so there was a strategy behind it, but like what people are seeing is me, my personality. They're learning about me and learning my story.
Right. Right. Well, and that's interesting stories, and it's also it's just more of like an organic vibe than like being like, I'm about to sell you my green widget right here in this video,
Right.
because you still will end up benefiting by that video. Like you said, you made sure that there were certain things visible in your video to show, right? So you actually have that visual element of it, like, oh, she does that kind of art, oh, she does that, and that helps identify it. And then the fact that you're just sharing about it in general, that could also lead to sales. I mean,
Yeah.
it's I think, I don't know, maybe it's just the time. Maybe we're going to see, like, I wonder what you think about this. We're going to see over time in the coming years that just maybe people will just get better at this. Cause I mean, think about back in like the day, like the Mad Men days or whatever, like it's straight up advertising.
Yeah.
And it was like that for so long. So I think humans just like, sometimes things take a while to evolve.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was like, buy our thing, buy our thing, buy our thing, and that's kind of like, I don't know. It's just people, maybe they're just kind of sick of it.
Yeah, I think they are. I think through storytelling and that kind of organic stuff, it lets people's guards down. But I've
Mhm.
also seen this funny sentiment, if you will. I saw a meme on Instagram, and you may have not seen this movie, Britt, but it's Jim Carrey, and it's called The Truman Show. And like the whole point of the movie is
One of the best movies ever.
yes. I love it. And there's a scene where like his wife is like promoting Ovaltine or something. And like, but it's like a very serious conversation and she's like working it in. And it can kind of feel that way, it can kind of feel like cringy and stuff like that. But really, if you can just like lean into your actual story and strategically have things about, it sells without selling. But it's kind of an interesting, I mean, Truman Show is way ahead of its time because like that's literally happening right now. Not saying like we're
Literally
all in our own
happening.
little reality TV, but it's kind of like how I have to approach social media is like, I don't want to be a main character, but my personal brand, I am the main character and I have to put the presence out there. I think we're just so exhausted by seeing sponsored ads, paid ads. They want to see the people behind the brand, bottom line,
Right.
and trust you.
Right. Yes. Trust is, I mean, it's huge. And about storytelling though, and actually giving an idea maybe to somebody listening, like, also, you don't always have to tell like the whole story every time. So meaning, it can be little micro stories. It can literally be a story of something that just like happened last week, but it has something to do with like you and your pet or you and your spouse or whatever, right? So that helps them, of course, again, learn more about you, feel more connected to you, trust you more because they're getting to know you. But like, for example, at the beginning of this episode, I was saying that girl Amy that I follow, I was talking about like, if you have an actual product, like maybe you should be using it or you should be more interactive and not be like just so salesy. You could actually do those things together. So anybody listening that actually has maybe physical products to sell, like, okay, use the product in your content, but be telling us a story simultaneously,
Mhm.
and I think it can maybe be nerve wracking at first if you're not used to talking very much on camera, but like, you practice some and you get better.
Yeah.
So that's an actual like action item somebody could take right now. If you have physical products, be using it or wearing or whatevering it on camera while you're telling us some just cool little story of something that happened recently. And boom, you've got an interesting video
Yeah.
and you still featured your product.
Yeah. And I also even make a joke of it sometimes. Like in my video where I was introducing myself, I have a drink from Sonic Drive-In, that fast food joint. And I'm like, this video isn't sponsored by Sonic. Like, cause it could look like I'm coming in as an influencer and I'm sponsored by Sonic. I'm drinking the Coke, like that scene from Wayne's World where they're like eating the pizzas and the Pepsi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen to this entire episode on any major podcast platform. Simply search the Social Sunshine Podcast.